right, we are back with another episode of It's That Easy, and we're still talking college basketball. So if you're watching, please like and subscribe. I'd greatly appreciate that. But yeah, let's get into it. But first, I got to say, where am I pointing here? Look at that. This is episode number 100. I cannot believe we've done the 100 episodes of this. Yeah, it's been super fun, and I figure my next goal will be 1,000. So yeah, we got a long way to go. Oh, look at that! I almost pointed to it. We got a long way to go. But if you've watched this video at all, any of these videos that I've done, I greatly appreciate it. It's truly super fun to do it, and at some point I'll probably have some other people on too as well. So you don't have to just watch me; you can watch other people do this with me. So, but anyway, this is what I want to talk about. So we got to look hindsight. Whenever you're betting, actually, whenever you're doing anything, hindsight always 2020. But it helps you figure out, like, what did you do wrong? What could you have done better? And so here's what I want to do. Let's go through the Sweet 16 games. Let's go through the Elite 8 games that led up to the Final Four. See what went well, what didn't go so well, who did great, and who super underperformed. Duke. And we'll talk about that. Then we'll prep, because then my next video will be who's going to win the Final Four games and who's going to be the national champion. So let's get into this. We'll go through these really fast here. So Sweet 16 games were on March 26th. First one I had to go with my Longhorns. 7.5-point dogs against Purdue. Didn't think Purdue was that good, but let me tell you, they did show up when they played the Longhorns. They were hitting shots. Their inside guys were going insane to the point that last second, for some reason, Longhorns pull out their 7-footer for the last defensive stand. Purdue takes a shot, miss it. Yay! Their big man tips it in. Boo! They win. But they only won by 2. So 7.5 points covered. Great bet there. Nebraska. Man, I was so rooting for Nebraska. I thought, they've been really tough the entire season. They're going to do a great job here. Continue to roll. They were playing an Iowa team, which here's lesson learned number 1. Iowa team that just beat Florida, who was a top seed. I should have known. Momentum is a real thing. I didn't take that into account. Iowa went in. Iowa's 1.5-point favorite underdogs. They beat these guys by 6 points, and it probably wasn't even that close, to be honest with you. So Nebraska let me down. Go figure. Another thing I didn't take into consideration: Arizona, number 1 seed, played number 4 Arkansas. Arkansas, to me, was pretty impressive. I thought 7.5 points. They're going to show up. They're going to at least hang in there. I didn't think Arkansas would win. I thought they'd hang in there to the end of the game. Yeah, guess what? They lost by 21 points. So, and I'm pretty sure by halftime I knew I had lost that bet. So, bummer there. But a little bit of redemption. Houston was struggling and getting to where they were at. And Illinois was coming in pretty hot. Houston was 3.5-point favorite at the time. I think it dropped to 2.5 at the game time, but they were 3.5-point favorites. I knew Illinois was bigger. Illinois, they did a lot of good stuff. They rebounded better. I think they even shot threes better. Houston had a good defense, but it was going to be tough stopping Illinois, and it definitely was. Illinois actually won by 10, so that worked out super well. I was sad to see the Cougars lose, but I did win the money. I only wanted the Cougars to win by 2 points, so I was okay with that. They win, I win money. Unfortunately, they lost. So those were the first 4 games on the 26th. So as we go to March 27th, the second day of the Sweet 16, we had some surprises here. So Duke, at the time I liked Duke. Actually, you know what? I like Duke. When I did this, I put Duke. I posted it on TikTok like the night before the games. But as the day went on, I was thinking, I really like St. John's. I thought St. John's would hang in there. So hate to say this, but I had Duke on there. I actually picked St. John's on my bet. And 6.5 points. So I had St. John's plus 6.5 points. Duke won by 5. So I actually won that. I was kind of bummed that I didn't put St. John's there. But Duke won, but they struggled, and I honestly think St. John's could have won that game. So that was an interesting one there, and I should have taken that into consideration going into the next game, but we'll talk about that. Alabama, Michigan. Now, I picked Michigan. I thought Michigan was a stronger team. I thought Alabama was good but not great, and I was right. They actually won by 13 points, so 9.5 points. It was bigger than that. The lead was bigger, but they got the 9.5, so I was very happy to see that. I should have known Michigan would do well. Then UConn played Michigan State. Made my first mistake here of that day because I picked Michigan State 1.5, which if you've watched my past videos, you know what that means. That means I thought Michigan State would win. And I think a lot of other people thought Michigan State would win, except for UConn, who went in and won by 4 points. It was close, but they proved to be the better team. And so, I guess I should have seen that coming. But, you can't get them all right. So, and then Tennessee. So Tennessee was playing Iowa State. Tennessee was the number 6 seed playing number 2 Iowa State. Tennessee was 4.5-point dog. I thought they would be too much for Iowa State, and I was right. I actually picked them just to cover. Tennessee actually won. They won by 14 points, and I'm pretty sure it was 14 points like the entire game. So, that wasn't too bad. If you take my word for it that I actually went with St. John's, that was a 3-1 day, and that was a 2-2 day. So overall, let's see, what's that? 5-4. Not too bad. You come out a little bit ahead. So, and then from the Sweet 16, now we go to see who did well in the Final 8. Okay, as I go there, I realized it was actually Elite 8, not Final 8. But I think I've heard it called Great 8 too. I don't know. But Elite 8's good. So the first game of the Elite 8 teams, Purdue, Arizona. I knew Purdue was not that good. They should have lost to Texas. Arizona was good. So I picked Arizona, 5.5 points. I think actually it was pretty close up until probably midway through the second half, where Arizona pulled away. They actually won by 15 pretty convincingly. So I was very proud of myself. And then this happened. So I thought Iowa, I said, okay, they got a little bit of momentum. Illinois does too. But, man, Iowa's going to play tough. I had Iowa 7.5 points against Illinois. They jumped out, I think, to at least a 10-point lead. Iowa did. Man, playing out of their mind. But as the game went on, Illinois started to cut the lead in. And I realized really quickly that Iowa had to play a perfect game just to be within the 7.5 points. Illinois, who struggled, just had to play a good game to get close. They went from good to better in the second half, and man, they just flew right past Iowa. Iowa ran out of gas. I want to say the clock struck 12 for Cinderella, and it didn't go so well for them. They end up losing by 12 points. I think at one point it was probably like 16 to 18 points. So Illinois, who I should have picked on this one, took care of business against a tough Iowa team. And then we went to, the other side of the Elite 8, which was a really, really bad pick for me. I had Tennessee playing Michigan. Man, I don't know. I rooted for Tennessee, rooted for them, and picked them throughout the season. I thought they'd do better. I'm pretty sure Michigan was up by like 20 points at halftime. And at the end, they beat them by 33 points. It was never close. Actually, when it was 0-0, it was close. And that's about the closest it was ever going to be. Michigan dominated them, 95-62. Definitely proved they should be a Final Four team. So those guys did great. And then I said, you know what, Duke, they're going to tough it out, and UConn is they're a scrappy team, but, they're not dominant. So Duke should win. And I was actually in the car driving at halftime. When I looked at the score, I was at a stoplight, so I wasn't driving and texting. But I saw that Duke was up by 20 or 19 points. I said, okay, good, 5.5. At least I won one of them. Tennessee lost to Michigan, but, Duke's going to take care of it for me. By the time I get home, I turn on the TV. It's a 5-point game. I said, okay, Duke, I need you to win by 6 at least. So let's get this thing going. Yeah, it got worse and worse to the point where Duke made a terrible mistake at the end. They had 10 seconds to just bring the ball in, run out 10 seconds, up by 2 points, up by 2. And they didn't even have to cross center court. But the way they passed it, you would think like, oh my God, we got to get the ball over there, to the other end of the court. They threw a terrible pass. UConn, here's another thing. UConn steals it. I'm pretty sure the guy that got it, he passed it to the senior. And I'm thinking the senior's going to put it up, see what he does. He did not. He passed it back to the guy that stole it, which was obviously a good move. That guy shoots a longer three-pointer, nails it, nails the coffin for Duke. I saw Duke lose last year with, like, Cooper Flagg was on that team. There were other guys on that team. They choked. This year, they choked too. I should have known that, but believe me, next season, I will remember that. I will not forget you guys, Duke, and what y'all did to me. So, 2 terrible picks. Actually, this was my who not to pick. So now you got your Final Four. You got your Michigan and UConn, and you have Arizona and Illinois. So it's going to be really good to watch those guys and see what they do. I learned a lot of good lessons. I mean, you're talking, these are the last 3 games of the season coming up. It's been an awesome college basketball season. I learned a ton, had a great time doing it. I actually met some friends doing that too. So Turkey Crib, a guy named Bless that I follow too. So on TikTok, really cool guys. Capping Daily. So I think there's a Mr. Elite too. So we got a lot of guys out there that I met on TikTok also doing the same thing in that grind. Did a great job. But so those are the picks that we had. Did pretty good on some, not so good. Honestly, on those, I probably hit about 500. I think I was 1 or 2 games over 500. So that was pretty good. But so, like I said, episode 100. For everybody that's watched the show, those that participate in the show, I greatly appreciate that. It's been a ton of fun. I say it's been so much fun. We do another 100. Get us in the next basketball season. So thank you guys for everybody that's watched. Please like and subscribe if you get a chance. And if you ever want to leave comments, go ahead and leave comments. I'll definitely read those. And look forward to talking to you next time when we talk about who's going to win the national championship. Peace.